proceeding, right? So today's agenda is to help you understand the basics and the defined phase of the Six Sigma methodology. We call it DMAC methodology, define, measure, analyze, improve, and control. So we wanted to talk about the basics and the defined part. So the first part of the learning, my talk will be, today I'll be covering this, and there'll be one more trainer. This is not going to be Ravi Kumar this time. I've invited one another speaker, one another trainer. He is also, equally good. My best friend, Mr. Shivashish. And he is also a master black belt, and he will come and then engage you after I finish off this part. So this part, what I will be doing, I'll help you understand what is Six Sigma performance straight away, right? And then operational excellence. What is the meaning of operational excellence? Very often the term is used in getting pronounced in many companies. They say we are operationally excellent and we need to achieve operational excellence. What it exactly means, you should have a clarity. Then you will understand what Lean Six Sigma can do for your company, right? And then 4 important steps to quality, because Six Sigma is ultimately aiming for perfection in the quality of the product, aiming for the best in class quality. So what is actually contributing to quality? And then process approach, process thinking, how important it is to always have a process thinking, right? How can we make our organization process centric instead of believing in people centric and other approaches? How beautiful it will be if you believe in process centric approach. And then little history about Six Sigma. Six Sigma came from a company known as Motorola. We all know, the electronic gadget manufacturing company. And then the methodology prescribed by Six Sigma. Straight away I would say the superior methodology of problem solving, even as on date, is the MAC methodology. How it is, I will adequately explain as we progress. And then there are various tools Six Sigma is recommending. And what are those tools? We'll get an idea about it. And then different belt levels. And you clearly understand who is going to be an yellow belt in a work environment, particularly in a company believing in Six Sigma, who is going to be an yellow belt. So this is what the clarity I would like to bring in my first session. And then you will definitely be motivated to dive deeper into the Six Sigma methodology and various tools and techniques. Hope it is sounding good with all of you. The first part.
Yes, sir.
Perfect. Perfect. First part, what is Six Sigma performance? We all know Mumbai, right? Such a big city, crowded city, and where there is a team of 5,000 people who are involved in a particular work, by which, they collect your lunch boxes from your house and then they bring it to your workplace. Again, in the evening, they'll collect back the empty lunch boxes from your office and then bring it back to your house. They are called dabawalas. You might have heard and you might have watched their YouTube videos and read a lot of articles. In fact, in one of the magazine called Forbes magazine, an article came appreciating the dabawalas. In that, they have given the credit that their performance is well above Six Sigma. Their performance is well above Six Sigma. In a particular day, they carry about 2 lakh lunch boxes. In a day, they carry about 2 lakh lunch boxes. That means there are about 2 lakh transactions happening, isn't it? One transaction is collecting your lunch box, taking to your workplace, your office, and then collecting back the empty one, and then again handing over to the respective house. This is one complete transaction. And in a day, how many transactions they do? 2 lakhs, right? And 5,000 people involved in 2 lakh transaction a day. You know what is their level of performance? Their level of performance is they just make one mistake in 16 million transactions. That means hardly one mistake in over a period of 8 days. This is way beyond the Six Sigma performance, because according to Six Sigma, the benchmark performance is 3.4 DPMO. What is DPMO here? Defects per million opportunities. We all know 1 million, 10 lakhs. If there are 1 million opportunities, a failure or a defect is expected. The defect expected is 3 or 4. But look at their performance. 1 out of 16 million transaction. Can I say their performance is way beyond, well ahead of Six Sigma? Am I correct with my statement now?
Yes.
Yes. How they made it possible? You all wanted to achieve Six Sigma performance in your business. You wanted to make sure the DPMO is well below 3.4 in your business process. And I know all of you are well educated. Right now, at the few of you introduced, I could immediately make out all of you are well educated, right? The professionals, and you are again here in the platform for learning. And then almost, every company, if you go, they struggle a lot to achieve Six Sigma performance. But this particular company called Dabawala, how come they achieve such a higher level of performance? Do you know what will be their education? Some of them might be illiterates, isn't it? They have not undergone any formal education. They have not taken any training like what we are, having right now. None of them are yellow belts. None of them are green belts. They don't even know what is Six Sigma. But then their performance is well above. How they would have made it possible? Any guess? The key word here is they had brilliant process guiding them. They had a brilliant process guiding average people, even below average people. To achieve perfection, you don't require, brilliant people always. You can still achieve the perfection if you have the brilliance in your process. Once your processes are brilliant, even average and below average people can help you achieve the desired perfection. All of you agree with me on this? And the standing evidence is the Dabawala group, isn't it? So they had a lot of, measures to prevent the failure, like some color coding, because some of them don't even know what is written on the lunchbox. But with some kind of color coding, some kind of numbering, they were, able to understand where exactly the lunchbox has to be, handed over and all of this. And then they could perform well. Now coming on to the other side, traditional Dabawala one side, and today we see a lot of guys bringing food from every hotel, isn't it? The Swiggy and Zomato. They are nothing but the modern Dabawalas. They are also struggling to achieve the Six Sigma performance. Hope all of you had some experience with all these guys, isn't it? Swiggy, Zomato. And are they always perfect? Are they delivering you the high quality service every single time? Or are you facing a lot of trouble with them? It happens, isn't it? Everything happens. So that means sometimes the food doesn't arrive on time. Right? The food doesn't, because the app that makes a commitment. Every time you made some booking, or you book some meal or book some food, and commitment is made. Food will be delivered in 30 minutes, 40 minutes. But then they end up not delivering the food within the committed time. Isn't it? So these are called failures. These are called failures. A requirement is not met. The unmet requirements are nothing but the defects. Can I call them as defects? If any requirement is unmet, then customer will find a gap. And if it is a quality gap, then we call it defect. If you actually consider Swiggy or Zomato, the modern Dabawalas, what are their specific service about? Their service is to ensure they bring the food within the committed time. Am I right? That is the primary requirement. As a customer, we expect them to deliver the food within the committed time, number one. And number two, the food that is delivered should have a proper packaging. That is also, Swiggy or Zomato is responsible. The third requirement, the person who is delivering the food, he should, behave properly, right? When the way he talks, the way he hands over the packet and all of this. So these three are the primary requirement any customer would expect from company like Swiggy or Zomato. All of you are with me on this? As a customer, we have three requirements: timely delivery, and number two, proper
Yes,
packaging, and number three, behavior.
quality behavior.
These are called critical to quality characteristics. These are called critical to quality characteristics. Swiggy or Zomato is not responsible for the taste of the food. They are not making. Hope all of you agree with me. Isn't it? Who is responsible for the taste and the quality of the food? The hotels, the restaurants. But Swiggy or Zomato is responsible only for the delivery. Isn't it? The service related to the delivery. How the food is handed over to them. They just have to hand it over to you in the same condition, right? And that's what they are doing. And now there are three requirements we understood. Now what is very important is there a way by which we can measure their performance with respect to the three requirements? If you could make their performance measurable, then each measurable characteristics is known as CTQ, critical to quality characteristics. The foremost one or the most important one is the delivery time. Am I right? Every time I place an order, how much time they actually take to deliver the food to you? The moment you place the order and the moment you get the food delivered at your address, the time consumed is called delivery time. Am I correct? This is called 1 CTQ. If they maintain the CTQ in a better manner, the business should grow, isn't it? If every time they deliver the food within the committed time, and all the customers will be happy because they are extremely happy with the kind of service Swiggy or Zomato is giving. And another thing, the food should come with a proper package. It should not, get mixed up, during the transit. It should come in the as it is condition, and so that, you will feel happy about it. That is the second requirement. That also, is there a way to measure it? Come on, guys. Is there a possibility that if you are made the manager of, the Swiggy or Zomato in a particular location, will you be able to understand how many times the pack is getting damaged because they have to carry it in a bike? Some people, come by cycle. There are many things happening, and the pack should not get damaged. It depends on the packing material used, the vehicle used. There are many things involved, right? Will you be able to measure? Somehow you have to make it measurable, right? And if you think, no metrics as it is exist, you might end up calling to the customer, isn't it? Randomly, you will call the customer and ask them, sir, are you happy with the packaging? Or have you noticed any damage, any leakage? Is that the food got mixed up? And through survey, you come to know. So this is weakest way of collecting the information. The strongest way means you should actually measure it when the process is running. For example, delivery time, they actually measure it, isn't it? Every time a meal is booked, time is recorded. And the moment the food is handed over, then the OTP or some mechanism they have, using which they capture it. That means they measure the CTQ in real time. Wherever measurability is weak, they end up talking to the customer, maybe interact with the customer and try to understand. And similarly, the behavior of the staff. Is there a measuring instrument using which you can measure the behavior? Difficult. In that case, again, what you do? You again do some survey, isn't it? Are you happy with the, the delivery boy, his language, his way of, communication, body language and everything? Certain questions can definitely help you. Ultimately, the CTQs, if you could maintain at the desired level, and customers will be happy with your service. And if that happens, your business has to grow. And that's why we are seeing these companies growing every single day. And today they get millions of bookings every single day. That is simply because they take care of the CTQs in their business. All of you agree with me? If you also, as an entrepreneur, if you also take care of the CTQs in your product, your business will also grow like them, right? That's the idea. So when it comes to Six Sigma performance, the benchmark performance is 3.4 DPMO. The defects has to be just 3 or 4 out of 1 million opportunity. Out of 1 million opportunity. In the case of Swiggy, how many opportunities for a failure we discussed? 3 opportunity. If the food comes late, that's a defect. If the packaging is damaged, that's another defect. Suppose if the delivery boy behavior is not up to the mark, that is another kind of defect. So 3 defects are possible. This is what we call it, opportunity. This is what we call it, opportunity. Defect opportunity. If one delivery has got 3 opportunities for a failure, 3 opportunities for a defect, if there are 100 deliveries happening, what will be the total number of opportunities? Come on, guys. Do you get my question?
300.
300, that's all. One delivery, there are 3 opportunities. So 100 deliveries, there will be 300 opportunities. In this manner, if there are 1 million opportunities, how many defects are actually happening? Now you have the DPMO in your hand. If that DPMO, if the number is less than 3.4, then you can proudly say your process is operating at Six Sigma capability. The performance is Six Sigma. All right. Hope all of you understood what is DPMO there, right? And what is Six Sigma performance. So what is your understanding? All of you tell me, what's your understanding? Six Sigma means DPMO is
DPMO is
less than
3.4 per million.
3.4.
Less,
Yeah.
less than 3.4.
Less than
Less than
3.4.
3.4.
In other words, 3 or 4 defects out of 1 million opportunity. 3 or 4 defects out of 1 million opportunity. So just now we spoke about defect. Any unmet requirement is a defect. This is applicable in manufacturing, also applicable in service. Isn't it? In Swiggy example, that's a service industry. We have understood defect there. In manufacturing industry also defects are possible. Have you ever seen some defects in the garment while purchasing? Yes.
Yes, sir, we have seen.
Yeah. In a garment, if the button is damaged, that's a defect. If there is a stain you notice on the garment, that is another defect. If stitching is not proper, improper stitching, that is another defect. If the button alignment is not proper, that is another defect. You have to understand in your product how many defect opportunities are possible, or how many opportunities for a defect exist in your product. Will you be able to identify this, first of all of you? If you are dealing with a product, will you be able to identify the opportunities for defect in your product? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes.
Definitely.
Yes.
Right? So imagine you simply produce a metal plate. In a metal plate, there are certain CTQs. The thickness of the metal plate is a customer requirement, isn't it? The thickness, the strength of the material, the surface finish, these are called CTQs. These are called CTQs. Now in a chair, we know defects are possible. If the wheel provided in the chair, if that is broken, that is a defect. If the handle is broken, that is another defect. If the cushion is like damaged, that is another defect. So these are called defect opportunities. How many ways a defect can happen? If there are 10 possibilities for a defect, then the number of opportunities is 10. Every product has got defect opportunity, isn't it? Say for example, imagine, think about the windshield in your car. In your car windshield, there are certain requirements when you are driving a car, isn't it? The windshield is expected to meet certain requirement. What is the requirement? It should first of all give you the clear vision of the road, isn't it? Now my question is, will you be able to measure this property of the windshield? It should give a clear vision. How can we measure it? And then it should have certain amount of strength. Suppose if a small object falls on it, it should not break immediately, isn't it? And we want that to be, stain free always. It should be free from all the dust and other things. So these are all our requirement. Is this product really meeting our requirement? Its color also important. It should be in fact colorless. We don't like any colors on the windshield. So these are all requirement. But what is very, very important is there a way by which we can measure all these characteristics so that we can classify the product as acceptable or unacceptable? The CTQs has to be clear. CTQ means it is measurable. The quality inspector should be able to check where, yes, this windshield is, tested and it is accepted for fitment. That means he tested all these possibilities. Yes, the size is okay, and the clarity is okay, strength is okay, and everything is okay, and so it is accepted. So each and every characteristics that you want to check in your product, because if you don't check, the customer will check and then make a complaint. So we are checking. So each of those characteristics are nothing but CTQ or nothing but CTQs. What does CTQ stand for?
Critical
CTQ
to
stand
quality.
for
Critical to quality.
critical to quality characteristics. When I am taking class here, you're all listening to me. Are there CTQs here? My voice must be audible to all of you, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Certain, I can even measure that. If I talk, with a very feeble voice, you may not hear. If I talk too much louder, you may not like. So there is certain range which is considered optimum. If I keep my voice in that range, you will feel comfortable. Your requirement is met. Isn't it? So likewise, there are characteristics in every scenario, in every business, every product, every service. If you really wanted to ensure quality, you must understand. All right? So, okay. Now the same slide I have used here because I also want you to understand one more thing. You should, now that you had a clarity on what is defect, you also know what is a defect opportunity. I want you to understand the difference between a defect and a defective. Defect means an unmet requirement. Defect means a non-conformance that is present in your product. Defect means a non-conformance that is present in your product. Because there is a defect in a product, sometimes we may have to reject the product. Am I right? Sometimes what we do, we correct the defect. Instead of rejecting the product, we correct the defect. Correcting the defect is known as rework. Am I right? If a defect happened and then you try to correct it, that's a rework. Imagine your wife is preparing a dinner for you and something went wrong. Let's say she is making idli for you and something went wrong and idli becomes, uneatable. You don't like it. Is there a possibility to rework and set things right and bring the same idli? Chances are less, right? Now the idli is called a defective idli. Nothing can be done. You have to outrightly scrap it. Same situation happens in our workplace also with respect to our product also. Am I right? Sometimes rework is possible. Sometimes we have to scrap the item. If the presence of the defect leads to complete rejection of the item, then the item is now called as a defective item. Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
If you produce 100 units, the chances are that all 100 units can become defective. In the worst scenario, all 100 can become defective, isn't it? But if you produce 100 units, there can be 1,000 defects that you can see on the product. Possible or not? If 10 defects happens in every product, what will be the total number of defects? 10 into 100. Come on.
1,000.
1,000.
1,000.
That means the number of defects can always be more than the number of units you inspect. Possible. But number of defectives, the maximum itself is equal to the number of units you inspect. I think this helps you to understand or differentiate between defects and defectives. Am I correct? Imagine you are checking 5 samples, 5 units you are inspecting. What will be the maximum number of defectives that can happen?
5.
Only 5. But if in every I unit, if the number of opportunity for defect is 3, that means 3 defects are possible in every item. So in that case, what will be the maximum number of defects that is possible when you check 5 units, 5
15.
items?
15.
5 into 3, 15. So 15 defects are possible even while checking just 5 units. But maximum how many defective is possible? Only 5. So this is really bringing a good clarity now. We have 2 different units. One is DPMO. DPMO is a unit that will help you to understand your performance, right? That will help you to understand your performance with respect to the defects. The more the DPMO, lesser is the performance, or the more the DPMO, lesser is the capability. If you produce more defects, then your capability is poor, right? So DPMO is a tool that can help you to measure your process capability with respect to defects, in terms of defects. There is one more unit. Normally companies use PPM, parts per million. What is parts per million? I produce 1000 units. How many units are rejected? Or how many units are scrapped? If you altogether scrap a unit, that's called a defective unit. So for defectives, PPM is used. But for monitoring and controlling the defects, DPMO is used. Hope all of you agree with me on this, right? Yes. Now we are going to do a small exercise to help you understand the DPMO little more practical manner, right? So every question I ask, you have been doing it. Please keep answering yes or no, or you can even shake your hands if you are on video. I mean, shake your head if you are on video. So that signal is very, very important for me to progress. Now, what am I going to do is, I'm going to do a small exercise with all of you to help you understand how this DPMO is calculated. And I will also share these, whatever material we are using, we are ready to share with you, and we have no problem with that, right? So that means we want you to learn as much as possible, all of you can. So now there is a sigma level calculator. There is a discrete data situation. There are so many templates available, and the entire template is free for you and you all can use. So now I'm going to a particular sheet. I'm searching for a sheet with the name GEMS exercise or GEMS experiment. You all now have the GEMS chocolate, right? So please pick those gems and you can show it on the camera so that all of us can see. Very good. So hope all of you are having it, and those who are on video, those who are not on video, all of you please try to participate. But because of the limited time, I will collect data only from few of you, not all of you. Like how I allowed few of you to speak, same manner. Now, in a GEMS chocolate, I want you to define certain CTQs. In the GEMS, because GEMS chocolate is a product, chocolate. Certain CTQs. Yeah. So we need to define certain CTQ. First of all, DPMO means defects per million opportunity. Defect means any form of non-conformance. Requirement is something, but requirement is not met. That's a defect. Now, defect opportunity in a GEMS. There are several opportunities for a defect. Suppose if the packaging is not perfect, let's say there is a leakage, let's say, there is some opening. That's a defect, isn't it? And if the printing is also there is a problem, that's also a defect. We can define defects in several ways. I'm going to consider only 5 of those defects just for simplicity, right? Let's concern only about the chocolates inside. Inside the packet, we have chocolates. Let's define the defects with respect to the chocolates, not about the package. Right? And now, inside each pack of 5 rupees pack of gems, we expect at least, no, we expect 10 pieces of chocolates inside. This is a requirement, isn't it? This is a requirement. The first CTQ is count. All of you understand count? Count is measurable, isn't it? If you open the pack, you immediately come to know whether 10 is there or not. If it is less than 10, that means there is a defect happened. If it is more than 10, that is also a defect. Don't open the gems, don't eat the gems. Wait for the instruction, I'll tell you. I am explaining only the defect opportunities. What is the first opportunity or first CTQ? The number of chocolates inside. Clear, all of you? What is the customer requirement? Exactly 10. Now, second defect. Crack. All the gems should be in a full shape. No breakage. No cracks. Will you be able to check that also? Will you be able to measure that also? And
Yes.
we are not going to use any tensile strength or compressive strength measuring device. No. We just eye judgment, just inspection, visual inspection. Check whether it is broken or not, whether some crack is there or not. So second CTQ is also understood. Third one,
Yes.
shape. Shape means it should be circular. We don't want it in other shape. If other shapes are formed, it will be oval or it may have sharp corner, isn't it?
Yeah.
I leave it to you how to check the roundness, right? Maybe you touch, you get a feel of it, and you can classify. But ultimately, it should be proper round. Fourth one, color. Different colors are okay. Different colors are okay. But it should not be a faded color. Am I right? It should not be faded, or two colors should not get mixed up.
Well, I have a question, sir. I have a small doubt, sir. If you please allow, sir.
Yeah, please.
Sir, with regards to color, sir, when it comes to brand, there cannot be there has to be a standardization. So if we are talking about Cadbury gems, color has to be brown only. So do we need to consider that parameter also?
I think generally in a normal gems, different colored chocolates will be there inside.
Yeah, I mean talking about, if I talk about the standard color, which is brown. So although it contains multiple colors, but if we take particular color, supposingly we assume that gems has only one color, then in that case we should bound ourselves by the one color only.
Yeah. See, please, always when we are making any product, we always understand our customer segment. It's not, we don't make product for one person, isn't it? It's not a shipbuilding.
It is for kids.
It is made for order. That's a different story. I want brown color, then it is only brown color. But here, I make for millions of people. In fact, I want every human being in the, in earth to eat my chocolate. That is my vision. So now you understand your customer segment. If I say it is always brown, some people may not like brown. Why should I lose my business? So multicolored.
Had it been the case of any other chocolates other than Cadbury, had it been the case of Brown Star, any other?
See, if the customer is segmented, then you restrict to their requirement. Here it is not segmented. Actually, the segment is only children, that's all. Children love colors. They see different colors and they'll be motivated to consume more and then buy more. First they eat yellow, then they will eat green. Then they'll be tempted to eat everything. Even if you give 100 packets, they'll consume all 100. So the product is engineered so that kids can become addicted to. All right, that's a different story. Now color has to be multicolored. We have no problem there. But color, if it is faded, we want to call it as a defect. If two colors get mixed up, we want to call it as a defect. All of you understand? See, yes, it's one exercise we are doing. Don't take it into your heart. Don't check. Don't do all this checking while buying the gems. Not required. You can simply buy and eat. Enjoy. You can enjoy your chocolate. Only to understand the concept, I am explaining all this. Then finally coming to the taste. It should taste good. Again, taste, we don't have any measuring instrument. We will just use our mouth. We'll put one chocolate and check whether it is okay. Everything is okay or not. If you say okay, then everything is okay. Now you have found certain CTQ. How many CTQs? 5. You also know how to measure them. All right. You all have to do it now. First, do the first 4 CTQs. Don't straight away check, go to the 5th. Then you will not be able to do the remaining 4, right? Check the first 4, then test the 5th CTQ. Again, 5th CTQ, you don't have to consume all the chocolates, just 1 chocolate to judge. And then I'm going to collect your readings, right? How many gems you had? And probably I will collect it only from few of you, and don't feel bad if I don't collect the data from you. Now, yes, we have defined. Now I am going to remove all these names. The last set of people who attended the program, their name is here. And now please take some time, 10-20 seconds, and note down these numbers for you. Right? When you should be able to, when I ask, you should be able to pass on these numbers. I remove all this data. Now, first person. Who is ready? Anyone is ready? First person.
Maheshwaran. Yeah, I'm ready.
Yes, sir. I'm ready.
Kirti is ready. Yeah, I'll come.
I'm also ready, sir.
So first Kirti.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
she will come. So Kirti, how many
Yes, sir.
chocolates you found in your packet?
10, sir.
10 means I don't see any defect. So I put it 0.
Yes.
10 is the requirement and requirement is met, it is 0.
Okay,
Do you notice any color defect?
4, 2, sir. 2 pieces. Set.
2 color defect. Do you notice
Yes.
any crack defect?
In 4 pieces, sir.
Do you notice any shape defect?
No, sir. Okay. All okay. 0.
Do you like the taste?
Yes, sir.
Very good. So I got 6 defects reported by Kirti Bala, right? Then who is next?
Deepak.
Okay. Deepak. Yes, Deepak. Tell me how many chocolates you got?
10, sir.
So no defect?
No, sir.
How about the color? Any issue with the color?
2.
2 color issue. Any issue with the crack?
5 cracks.
5 cracks. And shape? Any problem?
Shape 1, sir.
1 shape you don't find it proper. And taste?
All good, sir.
All good. That means he reported 8 defects. Right? So far I just tested 2 packets. Now third person. Who is next?
Maheshwaran.
Okay, Magge. But preferably, those who want to give the data, you come on video. That will be helpful. Mageshwaran, I could see.
Yeah.
Mageshwaran. Otherwise, your voice will be like hearing from the space. Difficult to listen. All right. So count. Yes, Magesh.
I got 11 pieces.
Oh, 1 extra.
Yeah.
1 extra is the problem here.
Yes.
All right. Color. Any issue with the color?
Color, no issues.
No issues. Any issue with the crack?
Yeah, I got 3 cracks.
3 cracks. Any issue with the shape?
No,
And taste?
taste is good.
Very good. Now he reported 4 defects. And next quality inspector.
Lalit Prasad, sir.
Lalit. Yes, Lalit. Count.
10, sir.
Count okay. Color.
3.
And then the
Crack 1, sir.
crack 1. Then shape.
Shape 1, sir.
Taste.
0.
You liked it. Very good. Who is next?
Sushant. Sushant.
1 minute. Because I could see only few people. Who is speaking? Prashanta.
Sushant.
Where is Sushant there? Anybody
Hi.
able? Okay, Sushant, I can see. Okay. Sushant. Yes, Sushant.
Count is 10.
So no problem.
No
Color.
problem. Color 1 is faded.
Okay. Crack.
Crack 5.
Okay. Shape.
Shape is 1.
Okay. Taste.
Taste 1.
Taste means everything is good or bad.
Bad. It was bad.
You don't like, right?
Yeah.
In that case, maybe you can go for one more sample also.
Okay.
Very good.
Then I will say, no, everything is bad. If one more is also bad, then double sampling. This is called double sampling. If
Yeah, that was good.
that
okay.
was good, right?
Yeah.
So I will say if half of them are good and half of them are bad. That's what you have found. So 5
Yes.
bad. So you reported 12 defects. And next day, Amanullah. Amanullah was asking me. Amanullah. Tell me, Amanullah.
Counting is 10.
So no problem. Color?
5 colors are faded,
Okay. Crack?
and there's no crack.
No crack.
Most of the shapes are not even.
Everything is all are defects only. All are having the
Yes.
shape defect.
shape.
And how about the
is
taste?
good. Taste is good.
Taste is good. So he reported 24 defects. So many. Then who wants to give?
Very good.
Dylan.
Yeah. Is that Mirza? Mirza, I could. Milin. Okay. Yes, Milin. Unmute. Yeah.
So there are 10 pieces. So
So
count.
no problem with the count. Color?
Crack, there is a small color. Only 2 are faded.
Okay. Crack?
Crack, only small dot on one piece.
Okay. Shape?
Shape, all are good.
Taste?
Test, one tested. Good.
Good. One enough. And then the rest you can use it to stay energetic in the program. All right. So Shobit, you're raising your hand. Now you can give. Shobit.
So count is 10.
So no problem here. Crack?
Cracks color, sir, I think.
Yeah, color. Yes, color.
Color side it has multiple color.
No, multiple color is fine. I have already defined.
Yes, sir.
Any problem you see with the color?
Oh, no, sir. No.
No. Any problem you see with respect to crack?
2 chocolates are cracked, sir.
Cracked. And any issue with the shape?
No, sir.
How about the taste?
Taste was also good.
Very good. And now next person?
Srijit.
Srijit.
Yeah.
Okay. But where is Srijit? I can see now. Yes, Srijit.
Count is okay.
Count is okay. Color?
Yeah. Color 2.
Color also okay. Crack?
No, 2. Color 2.
Color 2. Crack?
Yeah. Cracks 5.
Okay. And shape?
Shape 1.
Okay. Taste?
Taste okay.
Very good. Now one last. One more. Who is going to give?
Ashish.
Ashish, yeah?
Yes. Sir, only
Where
one
is
crack.
Ashish? Where is Ashish? You are not on video, Ashish?
Yes, I am. I'm
You are
raising
on.
my hand.
Yeah. I can see you now. Blue
Yeah.
T-shirt. Very good.
Yes.
Ashish.
So I found
Ashish.
only one crack. Rest of the
Count is
secure-
okay. Color is
Yes.
okay. Crack is
What-
okay.
Crack is one.
One crack you have seen,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
So one crack, rest all okay.
Yes.
So all others, don't mistake me. You keep your readings with you and also you can enjoy your chocolates, right? As we progress. So now you see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 people tested the quality of the product, right? And one person in fact got 11. So 10 packets opened, 101 chocolates were tested. Am I right? 10 packs are opened, 101 chocolates are tested, and now we have got this many defects. Let me see whether the number is correct. Is equal to the sum of all these numbers. 73. How many defects reported? 73.
73.
How many units inspected?
101.
Now you need to calculate the DPMO. Let me do some little here. Please stay active. Units inspected. Units inspected. I am typing 101. Defects reported. I am typing 73. I think all of you agree with me on this.
Yes.
Now, anything you want, you can calculate. You want DPU? Yes, possible. You want DPO? Yes, possible. You want DPMO? Yes, possible. It depends on your company's, practice. Some company use DPMO. Some company, they even go to the extent of checking defects per 100 unit. They invent something new. Defects per 1000 unit. Some companies, they say, ppm. That's all different. But now we want to calculate dpmo. So straight away, let me come to opportunities first. I'm just keeping this on hold. Wait for some time, marking it red. I'll explain this also. Hold it. Let us hold it. Now, opportunities per gem. How many defect opportunity we defined in a gem? 5.
Yeah.
So what will be the total number of opportunity?
5
This
not
5 multiplied by number of units inspected, which is 101. 505. Can you see 505 here?
Yes.
Now I want to know DPO. What is DPO? Defects per opportunity. The expression itself gives the formula. DPO equal to number of defects divided by total opportunity. Am I right?
Okay.
I need an yes. Number of defects divided by total opportunity.
Total
So
opportunity.
I'm explaining it here. Number of defects is 73. I am typing it. What is total number of opportunity?
505.
Very good. Just enter this. Now DPO is ready. What is your
Okay.
DPO? 0.1445546. Am I right?
Yes.
Now what is required is DPMO. DPMO is defects per million opportunity. If you know how much is the cost per piece, then for million piece, you can calculate. Tell me, 1 apple is 1 rupee. What will be the cost of 1 million apple?
1 million.
1 million.
It's an easy question, right? 1 apple is 1 rupee. So 1 million apple will cost you 1 million
1
rupee.
million.
How do you get the answer? You multiply it by 1 million.
Yeah.
Similarly, DPO is available. What is DPMO? You just have to multiply it by million.
1 million. Yeah.
1 million is 10 to the power of 6.
6.
That means 1 followed by 6 zeros. So let me show you how you can do it here in Excel. So I remove this, equal to whatever is the value multiplied by 1 followed by 6 0, or otherwise 10 to the power of 6.
Yes.
What is your DPMO now? 1 lakh
1,44,000.
554.
Are you happy, or do you think, are you happy with the DPMO value here?
No.
Certainly no.
It should be below.
We know the benchmark reference performance set by Motorola, particularly Bill Smith and Michael Harry, people behind Six Sigma methodology. They said, the benchmark performance is your defect should be lesser than 3.4. But we have something running in lakhs. Now, what will be the corresponding sigma level? Since we are at the yellow belt level, I don't want to take into complicated subjects, rather show you, some interesting stuff. 1,44,554. Please remember this number. I want to go here, 1,44,554. Go here and come to sigma level calculator. Here, I want to type the DPMO, 1,44,000.
554.
554.
54.
1,44,554. I type and then enter. Now it is telling you your sigma level is, can you see sigma level ST?
Yes.
Yeah.
2.56.
2.56.
There are always 2 types of sigma level. Short term, another one is long term. Short term is what you see with your data. Long term is what can be the scenario in the future.
Okay.
Right? Always there will be 2 sigma level, one for short term, one for long term. The long term will be always lower. Short term will be always higher. And the difference will be always 1.5. You can see here. Difference.
Okay.
Short term sigma level minus long term sigma level. The difference is 1.5. You will see always this. So hereafter, when you inspect anything, try to understand how many units you inspected. Then in each unit, how many defects are possible? That is number of opportunity. Then actually how many defects reported? This information is sufficient enough to arrive on your sigma level of 2.56. All of you are with me?
Yes, sir.
You all have quickly become experts to calculate the sigma level for any product. But the quality of your data will speak about the quality of your estimate. Whatever you are estimated, your process capability, that purely depends on the quality of the data. Isn't it? If data doesn't having the quality, then all the calculation will be meaningless. Look at the gem story. 1,44,000 is the DPMO. According to that, sigma level is also bad. Sigma level is also bad. And but how is the business? According to the logic, if your sigma level is great, business should go on well. If sigma level is bad, then business will should suffer. That is our understanding, isn't it? But with respect to the gems, how is the business going on?
It goes
Going
on
on well.
Yeah.
It's going on well. So what went wrong in our discussion? What went wrong is we picked up the wrong CTQs. Some of the CTQs we considered are not the real CTQs. Am I correct? Some of the CTQs, none of the customer will be checking like you. Who are the customer for the product? People under the age of 10. They don't check crack. Even if the chocolates are in powder format, they will still love it. Yes or no? And they never check for the color fading and all. They never check whether it is round or square. Nothing really matters to them. So they are not at all in the customer's requirement. Can you see that? If you understand the customer's requirement wrongly, then all your estimates will go wrong. Nothing can save you. So you have to think by standing in the foot of the customer. You must wear your customer's shoe, stand on that, and then try to define anything, right? So the mistake what we did is, this is the mistake. We picked up those wrong CTQs and ended up calculating something which is useless for our business. But taste is very important, isn't it? If the chocolates are not tasting, maybe, like one of our participant has correctly identified, sir, the taste is bad. That's a real problem. But except him, everyone said, the taste is good. We have marked only 0 there, isn't it? If everything is 0, then performance will be above 6 sigma. Isn't it? All of you are with me on this?
Yes,
sir.
Taste is the
Yes.
right CTQ. All other things, children, they don't mind. Right? And always you should identify, or this is called, understanding the customer requirement. In one of the famous book written by Stephen Covey, I do not know how many of you read it, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. He included one important habit, which is habit number 5. Listen to get listened. Seek first to understand, then to be understood. What is his message there? First, you should understand the customer's requirement. Isn't it? Don't jump to the next stage before understanding the viewpoint of your customer first. Customer requirement is only taste. If you don't understand that and simply proceed to the next stages, all of them will become meaningless. That's how our calculation also became meaningless, isn't it? But still I calculated because I wanted to teach you, the calculation became DPMO. That's the only purpose. Clear, all of you? All of you understand?
Clear,
Yes,
sir.
Very good. So the right CTQs and the right way of measuring the CTQs are very, very important for the right assessment of process capability. Then the sigma level will have a real meaning in real life. Otherwise, it will be only some calculation, and that will be of no use. So with that note, we are proceeding. Now I want you to understand operational excellence. Very often we use operational excellence means you are putting your best efforts to ensure you perform better than your competitor. Right? You utilize best of your ability, best of your strength, best of your resources You are able, no, you put your best just to ensure you perform better than your competitor. If I break down the word operational excellence into two parts, one is operation, other one is excellent. We all know the meaning of excellent, isn't it? But what is operation? Your daily activity is the operation. Am I right? Imagine we all are on a race. All of us are on a race. Obviously, all of us want to win. Now, who will actually win? The one who can perform better than others in the competition. He is going to win. Be it whatever. It's a running, and then he should run fast. If it is some other game, he should play well. Isn't it? If it is a product, then his product quality will be better. All of you understand. Suppose, let's say, it's an examination. So after 4 days of training program, there is going to be an examination. And the first mark, he is going to get a beautiful reward. Right? 50,000 rupees cash prize. And now all of us are interested in receiving cash prize. All right.
Yes,
So
sir.
now who will actually get the cash prize? The one who can actually perform better than others. And he can really become number one if he can perform better every single day during the learning journey. Am I right? If every single day, day number 1, day number 2, day number 3, day number 4, every day, if he is very attentive and if he could learn little more than others, obviously, even if the tough question comes, he will be able to score first. This is called operational excellence. Operation means your daily activity. On a daily basis, if you perform better than your competitor, it is 100% sure that your company will one day become number one. Logical or not? Imagine, we all have kids, right? Some kids we have in our family. Imagine the kid is not good in a particular subject. A situation. The kid is scoring little less mark. But what is our vision? We want to make our kid, a good professional, maybe engineer, maybe doctor, I don't know, maybe many other profession. For that, children have to study well. Since your child is not doing well right now, does it mean she can't secure the number one position? Definitely no. All that required is some improvement, isn't it? Some improvement is required. And slowly, the child can become, can score the first rank in the class. In the class, there are 50 such children. Right? And right now, your child is in the 50th position. But you want your child, and your child also wants to become secure rank number 1. Possibility is there or not? Please tell me. Answer this question. Possibility is there or not?
Possibilities, sir. Yes, sir.
Possibility is there.
Yes,
Possibility
yes,
there.
It is required. I don't want my child to become first rank right on the next day. No. I want to give enough time to my child. Maybe 1 year I will give, or 6 months I will give, or 2 years I will give. But after 2 years, I want to see my child securing rank number 1. And this is practically possible. All of you agree with me? Practically possible. We have given enough
Yes,
time.
sir.
Now what is required is our child has to be operationally excellent. How the other children in the class, they spend their whole day. Our child should know, isn't it? How do they start the day and how do they end the day? Or wake up and then going to bed. What the kids are normally doing, how many hours they study. And how your child has to perform little more better than all other students in the class. That means, the same moment, once your child understands this logic, your child is on an operational excellence journey. On a daily basis, your child is doing better than others, but still not rank number 1. But definitely, gradually, what will happen? Within 3 months, From 50th rank, he might come to 40th rank. Possible or not? And gradually, no, within 1 year or 1.5 years, you will see your child actually becoming number one. This should happen in your company also. Your company also has got competitor, isn't it? And in your company also, people are coming. They are starting the day. They are ending the day. Between starting and ending, all the small activities they do, that is called operations. Am I right? If these operations, nothing but the smaller activities, if they are made better than your competitor, your company will one day become number one. This is possible only if we improve our daily activities. Am I correct? If we can improve our daily activities, yes, we will definitely achieve operational excellence. That will make our company number one. If you can perform better than your competitor, automatically the customers of your competitors slowly one by one will start coming to you. New customers are not going to come from a new planet, isn't it? If at all your market share is increasing, it simply means customers from the competitors are now coming to you. You may also create some new customer, but then the majority, the market share, if your market share has to increase, then your competitor has to lose the market share. For that, you have to be better than them in terms of quality, in terms of productivity, in terms of cost, even in terms of operationally. Nothing but the daily activities. Now, all of you understand what is operational excellence?
Yes, sir.
Now I give you the definition. You can read and then you can get convinced yourself. Operational excellence is the execution of the business strategy to make your child rank number one in 2 years. You will have some big plan, isn't it? Some consistent effort, every day morning, 2 hours, and special tuition teacher, many things you have done, right? Certain priorities are set, right? Same manner, to make your company number one, certain priorities, they are known as strategies. They are known as strategies, means no compromise. It means no compromise. For example, if you all wanted to see yourself at your optimum health, one of the strategies is you should avoid taking food from external sources. Am I right? If you maintain this consistently for a longer period of time, definitely your health will improve. You will, isn't it? This has become your priority. What is your priority? Avoiding food from outside. If you maintain it for a longer period of time, then that can be called your strategy for good health. Am I right or not?
Yes, sir.
Similarly, your organization should also have strategy. Some companies believe in pricing strategy. Some company believe in keeping highest levels of quality. So there are different ways of grabbing the customers from your competitors. They are called strategies. If you execute those strategies consistently and reliably better than your competitor in terms of quality, productivity, and cost, you know what will happen? That will lead to increase the revenue and profit relative to your customer. Your market share will improve, customer satisfaction will improve, and Lean Six Sigma is an approach to enhance your operations. Lean Six Sigma is an approach to make a company operationally excellent. See here, Lean Six Sigma is an operational excellence philosophy that can boost your profitability, boost your market share, and the customer satisfaction. But the strategic focus is on quality. Now let's see a practical example of a company, adopting this approach and really becoming the number one in the market. We all know Reliance Jio, isn't it? By the year 2015 or 16, they entered as a new startup. I mean, a new company, isn't it? They entered as a new company into the market. That time, the big players will be Airtel, isn't it? Vodafone, Idea, and few companies. And you can see them here. See here in the year 2016, 31% of the market is owned by Bharti Airtel, 39 Vodafone. That means Vodafone is the market leader. Can you see here? Vodafone Idea. And then 29% other players. And Jio entered in the year 2018. But imagine, look at what happened within a period of 3 years. 2018, they entered the market. In 2020, what is their market share? Come on, read out.
33%.
33%. And who is the
33%.
market? Who is the market leader in the year 2020?
Geo.
Geo.
Reliance Jio. That means
Jio.
in this 3 years period, they had certain strategy. They are given importance. They have executed the plan perfectly in a way that they are operationally better than the competitors. As a result, all the customers from Bharti Airtel, etc., I mean, particularly from Vodafone, because you can see a significant drop in their market share. Can you see Vodafone from 39, they have dropped to 27. So that percentage was actually grabbed by Jio. Then all the other small players, all of them lost their share with Jio. And Bharti Airtel in the race, somehow they managed. Can you see here?
Yes.
They are still remaining in the market, right? So what is the strategy Reliance Jio used? You all know. What is the strategy they used?
They provide free internet calling.
Every free internet, customer delight, everything is free. And they did everything, right? But they know in a long term they are going to win. Isn't it? This is called strategic plan. If you want to give your company the chance of becoming number one, then understanding on the operational excellence is important. Isn't it? And strategies, the right strategies have to be created by the leaders in the company. And the right strategies and the leaders have to be backed up by appropriate managers at senior level, mid-level, so that the strategies are not only written on the walls, actually deployed till your downline. Isn't it? On a daily activity level, that should reflect. This is called operational excellence. So Lean Six Sigma is an approach or a philosophy that can help you boost your market share, profitability, as well as customer satisfaction, keeping quality as the strategic focus. Anything you do, any strategy, please don't compromise on the quality. Even though Jio has given their product completely free, how about their quality of the product, quality of the service? It was on par and in fact better, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
That's how
Average.
exactly. That's how they grabbed the market share. I think now all of you understand what is operational excellence, what is DPMO, and certain basics about Six Sigma. Now, here I am showing two equations here. One is cost plus profit equal to price. The other one is price minus cost equal to profit. Both look same mathematically, isn't it? X plus Y equal to Z. So X equal to Z minus Y. We all have studied. There is no much difference. Or in fact, there is no difference mathematically. But practically, there is a lot of difference. Here, the company is believing on the price of the product. They believe that profit maximization can be achieved by increasing the price. But here, the company is believing that profit can be maximized by minimizing the cost. Is there a difference now? Right? So,
Yes.
if you are operationally better, right? If you are really running, processes which are effective enough, which are efficient enough, then your operating cost will be minimum. That will help you to maximize your profit. If the operating cost is minimum, cost of poor quality are minimum, yes, your profit has to be on the higher side. So the whole idea of maximizing the profit is changed from increasing the price to reducing the cost. Can you see that, all of you? Right? So this is the difference between the two equations. So in order to, because any business, ultimately they want to make a profit, isn't it? See, we need to give quality product. Yes, I agree. At the same time, profit is required for the survival of the company, isn't it?
Yes.
If there is no profit, the company will eventually die in spite of having, the best quality product. So there has to be a price for everything, and there has to be a profit in everything you sell. All right. So now coming here. So how can a company make profit? By offering faultless quality, on-time delivery, quick service, and then customer
Lower
also
price.
wants everything at the lowest price, right? Lowest price in the sense in comparison to the competitor. If your competitor can offer a product at a particular price, can you think of offering your product with the best quality, but price little lower? That means literally everyone would love to buy your product, isn't it? So how can we do that? So there are three things here coming into mind. One is quality, other one is time, other one is cost. The quality depends on the kind of process you run. Am I right? This is called a process capability. If the process is really capable enough, it will never produce defect. Am I right? Imagine a coffee making process. Imagine a laddu making process. If the process is really competent, capable enough, your coffee can never go wrong. Your laddu can never go wrong. Your product can never go wrong. Your service can never go wrong. That means process capable means the process has got the ability to produce product free from defects. So quality depends on process capability. Time depends on the speed of the process. You can always make the laddu faster. You can always make the laddu slower, isn't it? Possible. Yes or no? You can use machines. You can use some automation, all those things, whatever is the possibility, and you can speed up your process. As a result, you can produce faster. Customer gets the product delivered faster. And now the other side, cost. The way you design the process, there is a cost associated. Yes or no? All right. So ultimately, what I'm trying to say is everything depends on process. So take care of the process so that the results can be taken care. When I say results, these are business results. What are business results? The top management's interest. If you run a company, what are your interests as a business owner? Profit,
Profitability, better market share.
Customer satisfaction.
Customer
So these are the
quality.
results.
Customer
Your
requirement.
results purely depends on your process. Agreed?
Sir.
If your process is capable enough, faster enough, efficient enough, automatically your business results, has to improve. But in between, before coming to the business result, there is something in between. What is that? The quality of your product and service. Yes or no? If your processes are capable enough, faster enough, efficient enough, you will end up producing high quality product, offering high quality service, and in return, that will boost your business results. Can you understand, all of you?
Yes, sir.
Now,
Yes, sir.
ultimately, the product quality and even the business result depends on process. Can you see everything drilling down to process? Yes or no? If you take care of your process, your results are taken care. If you take care of your habits, your future is taken care. Am I right? If your habits are good, yes, your future will definitely be good. This is called process thinking. This is called process improvement approach. And now imagine you have an orange tree. What kind of fruits the tree will give? Orange fruits. No surprise, because you have grown an orange tree. And what will give? Orange fruits. But all of a sudden, you wanted apples. You want apples. Now tell me, will you be able to produce apple from the orange tree? Certainly.
No, sir.
Orange tree can only give oranges. If you want to change the fruits, you must necessarily change the roots. If you don't change your habit, your future will never change. Agreed or not?
Agree.
Same manner. If you want to improve your business results, you must improve your business process. Without changing the process, you can't get different result. The biggest insanity, the biggest mistake people do is they do the same thing again and again and again and again and expect different results. How come it is possible? So what is very, very important here is you got to improve your process to impact any of the business result, right? And in Six Sigma, we call it Y equal to F of X. In Six Sigma, we always, represent a process by the mathematical equation Y equal to F of X. Here, what is Y? The output from the process. All of you, do you know output? Yes.
Yes, sir.
Now on the right side, X are called as the inputs. Output is your Y variable. Y is your output variable. X are your input variable, right? And we all know the output always depends on the input. Am I right? The output always
Yes,
depends
sir.
on the input. So in mathematics, we call the output variable as dependent variable because it depends on several X factors. But X factor, you can change depending on the requirement. So X factors are known as independent variable. All of you are with me on this? Y is output, X are input. Mathematically, Y is known as dependent variable, X are known as
Independent variable.
independent variable. Now you can have this thinking in every situation, in any product, any service, any industry, right? Imagine you are making coffee. The taste of the coffee is the output. Am I right? Taste
Yes.
of the coffee is the output. Then what are the input that decides the taste of the coffee?
Beans, coffee beans.
Coffee beans and the sugar and the water or the
Beans,
milk.
sugar,
Ingredients.
milk. We must
Processor.
add some water.
Yes.
All these things, all of these are input. The proper combination of which finally decides the taste. Now, how can I measure the taste? If I offer my coffee to some people and they will tell me, sir, coffee is good or bad. This is one way I can understand the taste. But I wanted to measure the taste, right? And so I will try to identify certain CTQs in my coffee. How people are saying that my coffee is taste? Because they are getting, the feel of the strongness of the coffee beans. Isn't it number one?
Yeah.
The strongness, if it is optimum, then they say coffee is tastier. And another thing is the sweetness in the coffee. The strongness can be, somehow measured. The sweetness can be somehow measured. The hotness can be somehow measured. Right? And these are CTQs. The Y is now broken down into Y1, Y2, Y3, and so on. What is Y? Taste. But what is Y1? The strongness of the coffee. What is Y2? The sweetness of the coffee. What is Y3? The hotness of the coffee. If the coffee is at the optimum temperature, optimum level of sweetness, optimum level of strongness, the aroma, everything is optimum. Now, customer will say coffee is fantastic, tastier. All of you understand how the X and Y are related here?
Yes, sir.
Imagine there is a problem in the quality of the coffee. Let us say coffee is not stronger. Now tell me, which is the culprit now? Coffee is not stronger. There is a problem with the strongness of the coffee. That means your chef do not know how to handle the coffee powder. Am I right or not?
Yes.
Yes.
That means coffee powder is critical to the strongness of the coffee. Can you understand this? Any problem with the strongness, the critical factor is coffee powder. The critical factor is otherwise called as root cause. because it can influence your Y heavily. Isn't it? Similarly, yeah, the amount of coffee powder is one of the X. If there is a problem with the X, obviously there will be a problem with your Y. And that Y is your Y1, which is strongness. Coffee or too light, which customer don't want to drink. You have to bring it to coffee powder. And then you come out with a specific design of a scoop, which always picks the right amount of coffee powder, and the problem is solved forever. This is Six Sigma way of solving problem. We identify the root cause and then optimize the root cause. We identify the root cause and then optimize the root cause. In return, the problem will never occur again. All of you understand?
Yes, sir.
Identify the root cause
Understood.
and then optimize the root cause. When you want to optimize the root cause, you should have an idea about the relationship between your X and Y. In this example, it is coffee powder and strongness. If I put more coffee powder, what will happen to strongness? Coffee will become more stronger.
More stronger. Yeah.
If I put less coffee powder, what will happen to strongness? Less, it will become less stronger. That means relationship is positive. This relationship, if you know how to adjust your coffee powder. Am I right or not? Imagine your wife has served a coffee for you and you don't like the coffee. Then your wife knows how to set things right, isn't it? She takes the coffee again back to the kitchen. She'll make some adjustment and now the coffee is good to consume. How did she solve the problem immediately? Because she has the knowledge of the root cause as well as the relationship between the root cause and the taste. Yes or no? She is an expert in coffee making, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
So, if for coffee, the discussion is very simple. But if it is not coffee, some other product, then also quality problem can come. Yes or no? Let's say you are producing some concrete block. In a concrete block, strength is important. Yes or no? Dimensions are important. The finish is important. And all of them depends on the composition and the process characteristics. They're all X factor. If the strength is not up to the mark, the concrete block is too brittle, it immediately breaks. Then you have to find out which is actually making your concrete block too brittle. Is it you added more sand, or is it you added more cement, or is it you added more water, or is it you added more reinforcement material? Which is the root cause, isn't it? If you know the answer, then you can fix the problem. Suppose you come to understand, the sand is the culprit, not the other factor. Other factors do not play with or do not influence the brittleness. Now it is the sand. Now what should you do? Should you increase the sand or should you decrease the sand? That means you need to know the relationship between X and Y, isn't it? There is a beautiful statistical tool known as correlation and regression analysis. If you use that, you immediately understand the relationship between X and Y. If the relationship between X and Y is understood, you can optimize the X. You know how to change the X. You know how to optimize the X. If you optimize the X, you know what will happen to Y? Y will get optimized. If Y is getting optimized, my customer requirement is met. The quality problem is solved. And my process is re-standardized. The process of making concrete block is re-standardized. In the SOP, I have upgraded certain steps. Why? The same problem cannot come again. This is called Six Sigma way of problem solving. All of you understand so far?
Understood, sir.
This is how hereafter you must think. Always in terms of X and Y. Any problem, you need to ask yourself whether it is a problem associated with X or Y. If it is a Y, yes, that requires some attention. Isn't it? Because Y is the output variable that depends on several X. So X has to be identified, root cause identification. Then root cause relationship has to be understood. Then root cause has to be optimized. If I optimize and then re-standardize my process, problem will vanish. This is called the Six Sigma way of problem solving. I optimize X, Y gets optimized. As Y gets optimized, my Z also get optimized. Now what is Z? The much wanted business results. Am I right? If my quality of the product improves, my quality of the service is improved, automatically my business results should improve. Isn't it? This is Six Sigma way of problem solving. So in order to solve problems in this manner, you have to use a specific methodology prescribed by Bill Smith and Michael Harry of Motorola. And the methodology is DMAC, where D stands for define, M stands for measure, A stands for analyze, I stands for improve, C stands for control. What is D? Define. Define means understand the problem. Thorough understanding of the problem. Understanding the problem is nothing but understanding the CTQ which is under trouble. All of you are with me?
Yes.
Understanding
Yes,
the problem
Yes, sir.
means understanding the CTQ which is under trouble. And the CTQ should be a Y variable. And this problem should be a recurring problem. And this problem should be a recurring problem. Then only some investigation, a project is required. And the problem is recurring. At the same time, nobody knows the solution. Nobody knows the solution. Why? Because nobody knows the root cause. When I talked about the tea, coffee, all of you were answering. When I talked about the concrete block, absolutely there were complete silence. Isn't it? The brittleness, we don't know which is responsible for brittleness. The hardness, we don't know which is responsible for the hardness. The compressive strength. There are several characteristics. The surface finish. So we are immediately not able to catch the root cause. People do not have clue. So when the Six Sigma methodology is required for solving a problem which is recurring in nature, for which solutions are not available, root causes are unclear, and the problem is associated with your Y variable and not with X variable. Right? So this is the exact situation where Six Sigma methodology is required. What is the methodology I told? DMAIC. Define, measure, analyze, improve, control. All right? And define means thorough understanding of the problem. What is the CTQ? That is under trouble. The problem is considered to be understood if you can express the problem in a single metric. A problem is considered to be understood if you can express the problem in a single metric. All of you are with me on this? This is what doctors will be showing you. If whenever a patient is getting admitted in a hospital, the doctor will charge a big money and they will show you a report and underline something. Look at this number. This is out of normal. Can you see that? And so the number is used as an indicator of a real problem. Yes or no? Same thing you got to identify with respect to your product or your service. What is that now under trouble? Unless and until I correct this, customers are not going to appreciate my product. My problem is not going to be solved. And in order to understand all of this, some knowledgeable and skillful people are required. Do you agree, all of you?
Yes,
All of
sir.
you agree?
Yes, sir.
Not all problems,
sir.
not all problems needs to be solved in this manner. There are simple problems. Don't worry about it. They are not for breakthrough improvement. They are for simple improvement. Simple improvement comes by solving simple problems. But breakthrough improvement, if you are targeting breakthrough improvement, you should even find a solution for even complex problem. We are talking about such problems now. So now we need knowledgeable, skillful people who are called the Six Sigma bells. Who are called the Six Sigma bells. There is a hierarchy. White belt, yellow belt, green belt, black belt, and master black belt. They will ensure the entire company is progressing in the right direction. The entire company is implementing the right projects in a right order, in the right time. Required or not? Imagine it is your money that is spent in your company. Now you will understand the importance of my statement. The company has to move in the required direction, yes or no? For that, if you really want your company to progress, you have to understand the gap. You may not have machineries, you may not have manpower, you may not have the capable process. All of these are gap. HR department will identify certain gap. The operations team will identify certain gap. And all the gaps related to the operations, your daily activities, they're all coming under improvement projects. They're all improvement opportunities. Certain processes are weak. Certain processes are effective. Certain processes are not that much effective. Certain processes are inefficient. If processes are not effective, it will definitely produce defects. Agreed or not? If we don't have an effective teaching mechanism, you can't pass the exam. Yes or no? Failures become possible. So a process is considered to be effective if defects are impossible. All of you are going to pass. We know. Simply because we believe in our process. Isn't it? If your processes are effective, customer gets defect-free products. At the same time, what is even more important is, while delivering quality product, your business should also be profitable. Agreed or not? Sometimes companies, they end up producing high quality product, still running the business under loss. Have you ever seen such companies? That means what do they produce is extremely good, but how do they produce may be extremely bad. Do you understand? Now I am not talking about effectiveness. I am trying to talk about the efficiency. What is efficiency? The consumption of resources. If you consume the resources excessively, you are inefficient. Am I right? If you consume the resources in the right quantity, you are efficient. So what is right quantity? For everything, there has to be a target. Then only we know, isn't it? Whether we are consuming the resource in the right quantity or not. For inventory level, for raw material, for producing 1,000 units, how much raw material required? For producing 1,000 units, how much time required? How much manpower required? Isn't it? So if you go beyond that limit, you become inefficient. So if your processes are ineffective, you end up producing poor quality products. If your processes are inefficient, you end up incurring loss. If you wanted to avoid both of this, you want to deliver quality product, you want your business to be profitable, you must focus on improving the process effectiveness as well as improving the process efficiency. Improving the effectiveness of the process is nothing but a Six Sigma project. Improvement is a project. I improve the process effectiveness, that project is known as Six Sigma project. If my focus on improving the efficiency of my process, the project is known as Lean project. All of you are with me? The more, if I improve the effectiveness, if I improve the effectiveness, what will happen to the defects? Will decrease. So reducing the defects or eliminating the defects is nothing but a Six Sigma, and the purpose of the Six Sigma project. Then, what is Lean project? Already I told you, improving the efficiency. Improving the efficiency means we ensure resources are consumed optimally. I'm not saying reduce. Reducing is a wrong word. Optimize the resource consumption. Every time a resource is consumed in excess, it is called as a wasteful activity. Do you agree with me? If you consume resources excessively, then the work is called, or the activity is called a wasteful activity. Something you can do in 10 minutes, if you do it in 40 minutes, then that 30 minutes is a waste of time. Yes or no? So any form of excessive consumption of resource is called inefficiency. Any form of inefficiency is known as waste. All of you are with me so far?
So I have one question. If
Just
you-
one statement. I will take your question.
Okay,
So
okay.
defect reduction is Six Sigma. Waste reduction is lean. Doing both is Lean Six Sigma. Yes, sir, Shobit.
Sir, a few seconds back, you were explaining the difference between Lean and Six Sigma. So if you can please elaborate a bit more on that, sir. I missed that part, sir.
Yeah. Six Sigma focus is defect reduction. Lean's focus is waste reduction. I already told you what is waste. Waste means excessive consumption of resources. Resource can be time, resource can be material, resource can be manpower, resource can be machinery, resource can be floor space. Anything you consume excessively, you are wasting, isn't it? So that is called, waste reduction. If the focus is waste reduction, that's a lean project. If the focus is defect reduction, that's a Six Sigma project. Reducing defects means we are improving the effectiveness of the process. Reducing waste means we are improving the efficiency of the process. Effectiveness of the process can be measured in several ways. One way is measuring DPMO. All of you understand? If DPMO is less than 3.4, your process is super effective. Isn't it? Other way of measuring process effectiveness. There is a metric called yield. There is a metric called yield. Yield means the success rate. I produce parts and my yield is 95%. That means 95% of the products are acceptable, but 5% of the products are getting rejected. All of you understand? Yield is another way of expressing your process effectiveness. And then there is something called CP and CPK, which you will be learning in the green belt level. But certain information is given in the material for you to self-learn certain content. CP and CPK are known as process capability indices. That will give you a measure or estimate of your process effectiveness. Another tool is Sigma level. Please note, all of these are interconnected. If DPMO is high, what will happen to Sigma level? Sigma level will be low. If DPMO is low, then Sigma level will be 6 and above, isn't it? If Sigma level is high, what will be the yield? Yield will also be high. Am I right? If Sigma level is high, yield will be high. If yield is high, rejection will be low. Can you see the relationship, all of you? Try to understand any one. You can improve everything. All right? You reduce DPMO, what will happen to your yield? Yield will improve. What will happen to rejection rate? Rejection rate will decrease. What will happen to your Sigma level? Sigma level will improve. Ultimately, our focus is defect reduction, waste reduction. As a result, defect reduction will improve our effectiveness. And effectiveness, I told you, how can we measure? Similarly, waste reduction will improve our efficiency. How can I measure efficiency? There is a metric called process cycle efficiency. Process cycle efficiency. Every piece of work I am doing, am I doing in an efficient manner or inefficient manner? If I do it in an efficient manner, the work is called value adding. The work is called value adding. If I do it in an inefficient manner, then the work is called non-value adding. So any work you do, you always should calculate how much percentage of the time you are adding value. That percentage is known as your process cycle efficiency. You need to maximize this percentage, isn't it? 100 minutes. So far, we have started by 7 o'clock and now it is close to 9. Now, how many minutes we spent? 120 minutes. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Out of 120 minutes, how many minutes you learned something in the program? Is that you feel productive all 120 minutes?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
That means you are super efficient now. You are super efficient, right? But first 10-15 minutes you can consider that is only introduction. Purpose is, anyway that is required. But it is non-value adding. It is non-value adding, but it's a process requirement. Without even knowing your name and your face, we can't start the training, isn't it? So some introduction is required. You should know me and I should know you, and I should know that you are interested in learning from us. With all these things is a process requirement. So I know it is non-value adding, but it's a process requirement. So I can measure that. So this is how. For that, what is the methodology? DMIC. Define a problem understanding, measure, quantifying the problem. What gets measured gets improved. Quantifying the problem accurately, that's very, very important. Accurately quantifying the problem, we call it baseline. That you need to do in measure phase. Then analyze phase, root cause identification. Then improve phase, root cause optimization. Then control phase, sustaining the result. Like, while discharging a patient, doctor gives a lot of advice. Have you seen that? Because the doctor don't want to see the patient, again getting admitted in the same hospital next week. So he gives a lot of useful tips. You should also give such tips. That is called a control plan. These are the 5 important stages in a Six Sigma project. Define, measure, analyze, improve, and control. You can't skip one stage and then straight away jump to solution. That's not considered a systematic way of problem solving. That's called a trial and error method. If you skip any of this, let's say you don't define, straight away you go to the solution. That's not correct. Always you must seek to understand the problem before jumping to the next stage. Understand the problem, measure the problem, and then analyze for the root cause. Once you understand the root cause, now you are allowed to talk about the solution and implement the solution and think about control measures. How can I prevent the same problem? Because I gained some new knowledge. This is called DMAC methodology. And as an yellow belt, your responsibility is to work with the project leader, to work with the Six Sigma project leader. Who is a Six Sigma project leader? A green belt or a black belt? You have to work with him. You have to support him. Your role is you are a project team member. Whatever is the guidance given by the green belt or a black belt, you are supposed to, follow according to the advice given. All of you understand the responsibility of an yellow belt? Don't do anything on your own.
Yes, sir.
You are like the nurses, how the nurses are functioning in a hospital. They also give the treatment, but they are not doctors.
You just have to support them.
According to the instruction, they execute something. This is the role of an yellow belt. You definitely have some knowledge, but limited knowledge, not sufficient enough to handle a project, not sufficient enough to lead a project. And so you are called yellow belt, an intermediate level of proficiency in the Six Sigma tools and techniques and the Six Sigma methodology. But a green belt can lead a project, advanced level of proficiency. Black belt, he can also lead a project. Then what's the difference? He can even handle a case which is, having a higher level of complexity. The project is cross-functional in nature. A green belt always work on a project within his specific department. A black belt can even work on a cross-functional project. Whether the green belts are executing the project properly, black belts are executing the project properly, are there right projects going on in the company? Who will monitor that? Master black belt. right? And he don't monitor it as a, as an individual, as a council. He is part of the quality council. He is part of the quality council. The quality council is responsible for development of KPIs and metrics, so that with the help of the KPI, they understand in which direction the company is going. They also understand what kind of projects are getting implemented. They also understand whether people are able to execute the project and deliver the results. Wherever support is required, they will mentor. Master black belt will produce the green belts, will produce the yellow belts, will produce the black belts within the company. And then there will be two more responsibility. Project sponsor. The person who has the authority to approve your improvement project, he is known as project sponsor. And someone is required to liaison between the sponsor and the project team. He is known as project champion. Project champion and project sponsor are like the parents to a child. Can you imagine a child without parents? Suppose in case there are no parents, then the child will struggle a lot, isn't it? Same manner. The Six Sigma project team will also struggle a lot in the absence of the support of the champion and the sponsor. That's why it's very, very important. The top management, should support the improvement initiative. Six Sigma projects are always, are implemented using a top-down approach. Of course, projects will be identified from the bottom line. I mean, from the operation level. But then the entire drive will be executed using a top-down approach. So I think by now you got some idea about the process thinking and what is a problem. Process, with respect to the process. If the process is not effective enough, that's a problem. If the process is not efficient enough, that's also a problem. If the process is not effective, it leads to customer's problem. Am I right? If the process is not efficient, that leads to a business problem. Both has to be addressed. These kind of gaps are called problems, nothing but the improvement opportunities, nothing. Now, how can I execute? What am I supposed to do in the define phase? For that, we have a beautiful expert with us. I have to invite him, and he has joined already. I'm sorry I made him to wait, because these basics have to be explained clearly. So I took some extra time. I think he will still make it up for you, and he can throw light much, much better than what you had so far, right? He is none other than Mr. Shivashish Agnihotri. You are seeing him on the screen, and he is also a master black belt, and he is also part of our team. And of course, he do work for a company, and then working with us in training and consulting. So I hand over the session to him so that he can take you travel further from here. Welcome, Mr. Shivashish.
Thank you so much, Shivakumar sir. Good evening, everyone. So glad to see this entire forum. And I was hearing Shivakumar sir. He was every single time hitting the spot, and very nicely given the entire discussion or introduction, what you all need to know in order to drive or inculcate that culture of Six Sigma. Very beautifully, he has shared all the examples. Spot on every single time. Okay, so on that note, we'll continue the journey. And what I need to know from each one of you is, one is that the hour of the day, that is something which is really interesting, and I appreciate all of you to make that effort and make sure that you want to learn, you want to grow, and that's why you are here. So that is the first thing I would like to appreciate for each one of you. Second thing is that we have to start the define phase, and what Shivakumar sir has mentioned, that for define phase, we saw y is equal to fx, our function equation. So which is going to be my primary focus for define phase? Please tell me, is it going to be y or is it going to be x? One thing you can have out of the two in primary focus, right?
X.
So you do please help. Is it x or is it y?
X.
Are you sure on that?
X.
It's going to be a two-way lane discussion, right? I'll be asking you questions, we'll be discussing, and that's the best way to learn, I firmly believe. And we'll be knowing your inputs so that we can, nothing is right or wrong. I just need to know your responses and participation. Yes. So again, I repeat my question. for the defined phase, what is my primary focus of interest? Is it X or is it Y? Please tell me. I heard some X's there earlier.
Yes.
Yes,
X is the correct one.
X is the correct
Sir.
one.
Yes.
Are you sure on that?
I
Yes.
think Y, because Y is the output.
Why is the output?
Hmm.
Focus
When
on
my input is in the correct way, then I can get the correct output. So I don't need to worry about the
Right.
output actually.
That is one interesting point to think, right? And probably in my all the experience and projects I have driven, mark my words, ladies and gentlemen, that the define phase is one of the most important phases of your entire project. One of the most important, because how that you are actually defining the trajectory or the metric which you will be picking from here, and you will be working. It's a research work, my dear friends. It's a research work. You will be doing the research from here, all the 5 phases which Dr. Shivakumar sir has mentioned, and you'll be investing a lot of time and energy, right? Analysis. So define phase is actually one of the key phases on which entire work is dependent. Yes or no? Please confirm.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Coming back to my previous question. Now I'm again asking, which of the two is going to be your primary focus, X or Y?
why output.
X, sir.
Okay. Still I can get a mix of, I'm hearing a mix of response. What I'll do is I'll share my screen and we'll, understand. And from there, probably we'll get to know which is going to be my primary focus. Are you able to see my screen now? Please confirm.
Yes.
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 Perfect. So we'll take it from here. Yeah.